Today we'll be discussing the effects that digital divide has on different communities, whether wealthy or poor. And our first contestant will be who affects the most.
Because I believe everybody from 13 up actually uses the internet.
Who do you believe would need it the most, and if they don't have it, it would be more detrimental to them versus another age group?
I believe from junior high on up, should have internet access.
Do you think the government should be to blame for this digital divide?
Yes. Some parts, yeah.
Do you care to elaborate on that?
Okay. Like with the FBI, CIA, they monitor actually internet access. They look at your emails if you receive something from overseas. They actually can go into your account and see who you're talking to, and they go from there. Because sometimes they just cut off certain, how do you say it, internet access to certain people so that you can't get to. So I believe the government is
what pace do you think that the digital divide will bridge? Like, when do you think it's going to change? Or how fast do you think it's going to change? Like, this access that most people not getting to internet. What is the solution to bridging the digital divide?
Do you think solution would be those who aren't privy to the access getting up and mobilizing themselves to catch the train to areas in DC, like Northwest or Southwest, or wherever computers are readily available to use those computers? Or demanding companies like FedEx Office to set up shop in areas that need computer access, like Southeast.
Okay, considering that different age groups use the internet, which age group do you think is affected the most by the digital divide?
I think that teens are most affected by the digital divide, just because all the colleges are in Northwest, so they have that access, and teens honestly don't understand the importance of computer use until they get to the college level. So when you get to the college level, you're definitely like 2 or 3 years behind in what you should know as far as like computer information. So I think teens are most affected.
How is the government to blame for the digital divide? Or do you think the government is to blame?
I don't think that the government is to blame. I think that the neighborhoods are to blame. You know, you all know that our neighborhoods lack resources, and you know, it's your responsibility to make sure that you have adequate resources to live, healthy lives. And the government isn't aware of your woes if, the neighborhoods aren't complaining, if the neighborhoods aren't really talking about it. How will the government know that Southeast is lacking in computer resources and other things? So, yeah.
Last question. At what pace do you think the digital divide internet connections like everywhere? How do you think it's messing with children in their education?
I think it's messing with children like in other education, depending on what type of world you live in. Like if you're in a public school in the Southeast, Ward 8, it's like your school is gonna be like torn down to regular, like no type of support for internet or any type of person to get money in the school.
Okay, what age group do you think is affected the most by the digital divide?
Age group, I would say the kindergarten to 6th grade.
And why did you choose kindergarten?
Because it's middle school and high school are like quite getting better. So elementary schools are, still in the same way as they were. So
Wards with economic distress, let's say, so the poorer wards may have a bigger issue because they may have less access to computers in their homes. So maybe the student or the younger people in the families would have access at school even if they don't have a computer or internet at home. But then if their parents don't have access or their grandparents, then I think the divide will be shown more in areas where there's less money because then you don't have access to computers or technology.
What do you think the solution is to bridging the digital divide?
I think there needs to be, I've seen it before, but there needs to be a lot of programming around that. So even if it's technology courses for adults or senior citizens or parents of students, even the schools I feel like could do something about that. And even though our resources are limited, maybe having an orientation where parents get to see what are laptop cards, what are different programs that students are using to do their projects so that parents or grandparents feel more comfortable helping their children in the families that may know a little bit more about computers. I think for more social, I'm sure it would be fun to have your grandparents on a Facebook or something like that and kind of show them how it can be fun as opposed to just using it for doing schoolwork where they may not be able to connect with you.
Do you think the government is to blame for the digital divide?
Well, if you blame the government for the differences in economic outlook of different neighborhoods, then I would say yes. Because I think the digital divide, it comes from habits. So what people do every day is what they keep doing. So students go online every day and they'll keep doing that. Whereas if in different generations that wasn't how they did things, they may not care. I wouldn't say the government is fully to blame. I think it's just more generational differences, and maybe your children would have less.
What do you think got the less internet access?
Who do I think got the less internet access? I would have to say Northeast and Southeast both because of the choices where we live. Like how you got Bury Farms, for example. I don't really think it's computers down there. I mean, they have the whole recreation center and they got all of that, but I don't really think that we have enough access to the internet as we should, and I think it's Southwest and Northwest that really has it.
Well, man, I hope you won't put that draft up, please.
What do you think is a solution to bridging the digital divide, like changing what's going on with that?
What I think the solution is? I think the solution is based on schools or based on fundraisers that they held money for it, and that's to help not only the schools but the community out.
Do you think that the government should be blamed for?
I really do think the government should be blamed because if the government can make taxes on soda and on other things, why can't you put money into the schools? If we get all these charter schools, how come we're not getting any benefit out of it?
That's the last question I'm going to ask you.
I think the government should take the digital divide as serious as healthcare because it is just as effective. Like more people are still affected by not having access to the internet as healthcare. Like it really has a big effect on children and their education and how like it's putting like a line between communication as well.
Okay. Why would race play a huge role in the digital divide?
Race would play a huge role in digital divide because like I would have to say because depending on what race, like the stereotypes, like if you're white you're going to have basically more access to the internet and more like your income may be, let me put it like this, white incomes are much higher than African Americans basically. So so basically like race is going to play a huge part in it.